Hey everybody. Yawn. Ugh. The best part of waking up is going back to bed. Holy shnikes there, Batman. I tell you what, yeah, it makes beef jerky pretty dang quick if you don't adjust your stats. I think it may be time to finally move the bed. I don't know how I'm gonna do the whatever. Ugh, man. Let's go check everyone's food. I'm really surprised that the fish is staying around longer than... Oh, yeah, because they'll favor raw over... Yeah, that makes sense. Whatever. Good deal. There are so many... You know, there used to only be like... Yeah. Like maybe 10 skins? Maybe? It's gotten ridiculous now. We can couple that with the ones where they're just straight up animals. Different animals. Like the brachiosaurs. Which, by the way, that one works wonderful. I don't know what they've done. I love it, though. I prefer it over the actual animal because they take up less space. That's why I put the skin on them. I'm not a fan of the Styracosaur one. I don't know. The Trike ones never worked, and the Raptor ones don't work very good either. Oh, you know what? We can do that before I leave. That's what we'll do. We will go ahead and start grouping everybody. Alright, so who's just going to be told to just stand there and shut up? up, Blackbeard? Hold on, I forgot. Sorry. Thank you. Oh, what? Okay, what did you say? Oh, yeah, who doesn't? Oh, shut up. Shut up. To those guys, it's like, well, your game's dying. Fuck you. That's what I'd say. You know what? I've tried. Dude, I fought as hard as possible for on Star Wars Battlefront 1. I fought for everything that was wrong with shooters, everything that I saw that was wrong with that game from its beta, and even when I was playing it. And you had so many little fucking douchebag pricks fighting for dumb shit. They deserve what they got with the second game. Like, I tried, shitbags. I tried. I did try, though. Add class to group. Everyone else. Class to group. Everyone else. Oh, now I get how this works. Add class to group. Everyone else. Add class to group. Everyone else. No, no, I would just say it straight up. Your game's dying. Like, all the... Between... You know, I'd even say, politics aside, whatever the hell Battlefield's doing there, the game is dying, finally. Like, it went from being the alleged Call of Duty killer to the game that you're just like, Oh, Battlefield's coming back? I'm like, really? Yay. Yeah. Like, you haven't been something worth playing since Skyrim. 4 wasn't worth it. Hardline, I thought Hardline was okay, honestly. It had its stupid moments, but to me, you can't complain about Hardline's stupid moments if you don't mind Battlefield's stupid, you know, the overall frame. Like, everyone's got a javelin, and it doesn't do anything. But no, they do. They need limits. There's a limited amount of vehicles in the game. If not, why not give everyone a freaking jet? I paid for the game. How come I'm not allowed to fly a jet whenever I want? Let's face it, the majority of people who hate vehicles is just because they suck at vehicles. Because they either A, don't want to... Right, but the argument that he made was, you know, I paid for the game. Well, okay. Well, why do I have to sit around and, you know, wait for somebody, you know what I mean? Yeah, no, I played Verdun, dude. It came out finally over here. Um, yeah, did I tell you how good I was ranked at Verdun? I was like in the top 5 at one point. Anyways, yeah, no, yeah, I don't, yeah, Verdun's got lots of bullshit rolls. I mean, again, I don't think I actually had that high of a KD in Verdun at all. Most of what I did in Verdun was support. I was just the commander. And, because you're the commander, you know, like, it's all about... Like, that is such a weird role, isn't it, in that game? You know? Here's what you do. You stand back, and you actually, you know, stay back. Like, that to me is, you know what, actually... I thought that was strange as hell. The ones who win are playing as a team. We know that for fact. I mean, look, think of how little we had to do to kick everybody's ass in that game. 3 of us or 4 of us working together is enough to generally guarantee a victory on every map, no matter how big the room was. Oh, dude, it wasn't even the tank. I mean, it, it. I was about to say we did it with everything, though. You know, any vehicle, but you can have multiple people in. Even something as innocuous as the goddamn what was it, transport chopper. We made the transport chopper lethal. Oh, yeah, not even Hardline's bullshit. That too, yes, man. We made everything dangerous in that game. If there was a way to be insanely good at it, we found it. So we're fucking. Oh yeah, like when the rest of the team didn't want to fucking step up. Yeah, no, yeah. Like I don't know. It was fortunate in the long run that you were whacked because you did not meet Nutso and she did not try to steal you. That was really because knowing you'd have done something dumb and you'd be age X now, and I assure you, he will never return. Mm, ever, under any circumstance. Hey, Big Red, I'm dying and I need you to take my daughter. Go ask the whore to do it, age X. Go ask the whore to. Yeah, he has a daughter. I think um, I don't think, how do I put this? He didn't know who he was, he didn't know about BPD either, but I think that that's what he inadvertently, um, was messing with. Yeah, no, I think Battlefield needs to finally. I. It's one thing I liked about Verdun was the simplicity of the classes, like the old days. You know, we were finally done with some shit. You know, it's like, hey, this is what your class is. No, you can't change anything. Shut up. Quit asking. Like, this is what a whatever in the Marines got. Fuck off. Quit crying. You know, like, oh, I miss that so much. It's like, I miss that so much. That's one thing. There was a lot of things I really liked about Verdun. It's just, oh no, no one plays it. Verdun had a Verdun. The only failure Verdun had was because it's World War One, you know, and because they're relying purely on they're doing it as realistic as possible. You know, making it a one-shot kill game for the most part is fine, except that their connectivity on that server was not so great. So you know, I'm trying to wrap everything up before I go here. It's kind of like Hardline. Like, you know, I really loved some of the maps they made on Hardline because you could tell whoever made it really put their back into that game. You know, like they may not have, they didn't put their back into say something like you know, gameplay. I assume that you know they had their hands tied there. But one thing's for goddamn sure, when it came to like making a museum look like a museum and have lots of destructible things in it and have working door. Oh my god, man. I mean, but it wasn't just the dinosaurs. It was the Egypt stuff and like they went nuts with that shit. It's like they just sat down and went, "We're going to make this look as realistic as possible." I mean, I'll handle that. They did fantastic on that map. But a lot of their maps were like that, where you're like, holy shit, man, did you just try to make this as crazy as you could? Oh, the day's gonna suck. I always hate the first day back. Especially hate the first day back when I wasn't prepared for it to be the first day back. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. What? Oh, no. I go back in like 4 hours? Yeah, they switched the day. This crew works a different day, so. Like, ah, shit. That's really shitty, guys. That's really lame. Okay, fine. So, anyways. Where are you at, Icky? Hey, boy. Last of your kind over here. Don't take all of that, though. Modify ordering groups. Everyone else. not clear him off since I killed the Mosa? No, again, those guys on Battlefield, though, it's the same arguments, man, from like what? Back in Battlefield 3 with the battle log when, oh my god, the embarrassment of the battle log, too. Yep, cool. Whatever. Yeah, I know. The Battlefield community is a jackassy, helpless community, and I find that trying to, because no one's really given any weight, you know, like it's everyone for everyone, so you'll just get guys that chime in for their shitty ass mode to play, and you can come up with great ideas that other games will eventually use and stuff like that. Like I'm sitting there with Verdun going, I guess they sat there and looked at what I said on the forums a lot, or like people like me, you know. We want realism. We want it to make sense. Please let it make sense. No, we're tired of things making sense. I think it's funny too. Like again, you got all these like people on YouTube talking about wanting games to be realistic and serious now, and it's like you're the same guys who just a few years back were like, "Oh man, a dragon and scorched earth on Ark, that would be awesome!" In a game where it's like you literally had to take traps, and dye and make dyes from berries. Like, okay. It's like, well, it's already unrealistic that you're like, dealing with dinosaurs. Well, I'm just saying if I'm an alien species and I went through the effort of recreating prehistoric Earth, why would I do that and then go to, then go to fantasy stuff? What, because, I mean, like, fantasy animals aren't real animals. And by that I mean, like, there's a spiritual component to, like, a dragon, like Skyrim portrays. Like, they're not just merely an animal. So, why put a dragon in the game? Because you don't have all the other shit. Kind of like how you can't do the abominable snowman, truly, because there was always a spiritual component to certain creatures, because they're mythical or whatever. Okay, that part's handled. Hopefully you were paying attention, Pool, or you're fucked. Tried telling you, shithead. No, I never come on. I never come on until like the last day before you leave because I think that you won't figure it out. It's like the skank over there. When I finally decide to betray you, you won't figure out that I do this to everybody. Everybody. You figured it out the fastest, though. So you put a hamper in my plans. I was going to try to mooch off you for years. I think that's the worst part to me, too, about BPDs and all that, The fact that they try to live normal lives. I don't get them. Like, why don't you just be a monster 24/7? It'd be so much simpler for everybody else involved. Especially your kids. I speak from experience. Like, if you were just a raging monster at all times, no one would debate me over whether or not you're crazy. But back to Battlefield. You can come up with some of the greatest ideas. That community has got too many Call of Duty guys at this point. Like, the time to talk to them would have been back in whatchamacallit, 07? No, when was it? 2010. I mean, think of how small their forum was, too, back then. Like, I remember the BC forum was just like, yeah. Remember our biggest fears back with BC2 going to BF3 was, oh god, I hope they don't have that spinny helicopter of death thing again. Oh, if we only knew. Oh, don't worry, we'll make most vehicles shit. You can directly hit somebody with this thing. It won't kill them. You there, Blackbeard? Yeah, whatever. I tried. Now, where is the sap head? You just get ready for some dirt. I wonder how fast we're going to tear through their food like that. God, he's got to be almost max rank. Honey, yeah. Forgot the honey. Oh, and stimulant, right. There it is. Q&A. See, we're not detecting an enemy. I'll need some angler gel too. It's just why I get it that way so that I don't have to pick out nearly as much shit. You and stimulant, please. Do I have any on the thingy? Wow, that's done. That was a lot of berries. You know what? We'll go ahead and grab two. Got a feeling. Gonna be here a little bit. Oh, wait. Weird. Oh, I hate making these damn cakes. I underestimated how much fiber I was going to need, didn't I? I may turn off that auto detect feature. That's going to get annoying real fast. I'll show them. I'll do something stupid. Yeah, check it out. I destroyed my life. What do you got to say now? Showed you who's boss by destroying myself. Bet you're sorry. It's a miracle the game got it right. They needlessly complicated this recipe once they threw honey in. I don't know why I think this is some great advantage. The only way this would be worth it is if you took nothing but Therizinosaurs to like a boss fight and loaded them down with these cakes. And they're such a pain to tame already. And raise. That's an interesting idea. I have done the Allosaur one. I wouldn't mind seeing a Thero. They are a pain to tame, but... Well, but you got the pig. You know, the pig's food consumption's ridiculous for what you get out of him. I mean, basically, you got to put his favorite kibble on him if you want to get anywhere with it. Otherwise, he'll just eat through that meat, and you got to sit there the entire time and hold down the button, meaning that you have to get on a small, less defended tame in the middle of a boss fight where you're surrounded by ads. Do we still use that terminology anymore? Ads? Not sure. Well, whatever. It reminds me of what was that game? Metal Gear Solid 4, and the instruction book actually had a whole part explaining like online play, but they did it in a comic. It was some of the funniest shit ever, because it's like, you know, guy who's a rookie, they're playing it from the comic perspective, so it's like the video game characters talking to each other, and they're like, oh wow, I'm like a grunt, and then this guy, like, who's a hardened soldier, walks up and he's talking to him, and he's like, you know, explaining how things work in Metal Gear. And of course, you know, they always make a military game sound better than it will actually be. You know, like, they make it sound like it's gonna be like real life or something. Like, yeah, you're gonna have to do this, and you have to do that, and it's like, man, they just don't get the real aspects of these games. Like, developers just wish it was like that. You know, like you better make sure your camouflage is good, and, you know, don't, better field strap your cigarettes kind of shit. Like the real military. But they always chicken out. The only ones who don't are guys like Arma. And then everyone sits around and goes, oh, you can't do something like Arma over here. My kids won't like it. Like, I think the kids would be able to adapt easily. I think it's the shitty adults who will cry. Just like we were talking about there, you know, somebody goes on the Battlefield forum to suggest what I've talked about for years, because they used to do it in other games. I don't know about the original Battlefields. I only played 2, and I didn't play 2 very long. But I don't know about 1. There used to be class limits, so you didn't have to worry about everyone being a fucking sniper, because it's retarded that everyone's a freaking sniper. They suck. Like, I don't know why everyone has this I know why. Because you're bumping up your KD, and you think that if it's high, you know, which is why, you know, we kept trying to always push them to a new stat, but there was always something else that we didn't think of, you know, that would ruin it. Like, oh, well, why don't we make it about score per minute? Yeah, but that one sucks because it doesn't encourage people to defend. It's like, there's a really good time when sitting back waiting for people. Back on old shooters. I don't know. You know, honestly, some of the best times I've had is when I didn't give a shit. But then we eventually always become a well-oiled machine. I always figure it out and start figuring out how to make everyone into everything, and just, yeah. And then they find a way to massively screw it up. Not them, the game developers. Like, we're the guys that found the way to ruin transport helicopters. We didn't ruin them by any, like, stretch of the imagination as far as, like, cheating. We just were an organized team. We're the guys that figured out the Little Bird early on. It's like, oh wait, you can repair this one in flight. Like, what? Because we were so used to playing it that style from BC2, because we were really good at the transport chopper in BC2. Like, over 100 kills good. Like, basically, all Innocentes and Valparaiso were our maps. Any map where that chopper could become a factor, we would ruin it. And that's just how it was. I mean, to the point to where, like, yeah, you know. And then, you know, like, we'd always... The only thing was, like, basically it was a great way, because of the way Battlefield's point system worked, too, to have a guy that wasn't so great still reap the point systems of a guy that was. It was actually a really slick system. It's how you could keep people playing your game, because Call of Duty was all, you know, like, they can only bask in your glory so much, you know. Battlefield, as long as you're willing to hold a repair tool down, they can bask in your glory, and they are a part of your whatever, you know, just as much as you are. Like, somebody's got to shoot the place up, yes, but somebody had to keep it repaired the entire time too, or somebody had to fly it. Like, we did basically exactly what the game wanted us to do. We did it really well. Other gamers would sit around and complain. I'm like, well, you picked dumbass grunt, and while we were good at being dumbass grunts as well, it's boring. Every game does dumbass grunt, and unless it's something like Verdun, where you explain, you know, an era where there's not a ton of vehicles, despite what the new game or the new Battlefield's trying to portray or whatever. I mean, there's a reason why COD didn't follow them. You know, if it had worked, I assure you, Activision would have had a World War I game, but it didn't. Instead, everyone just went, "This is retarded. You shoved a bunch of, you did too much time warpy shit. Like, why even do that era if you're not gonna do it right?" Hey, what would happen if, like, women and blacks fought for the Germans? Like, is this the weird fantasy Swedes have since you haven't fought in a war since, like, 1812? I mean, I know you've been sympathetic to the Nazis. For different reasons, of course. I mean, the more you learn about what the Europeans all feared, in a lot of those countries, they were right. Like, why'd you help the Nazis? We didn't want to be communist. Oh, fair enough. I find it funny, too, that we've somehow rewound ourselves back to that scenario all over again. Like, we learned nothing from last century. A lot of it being that we just want to boogeyman the Nazis and not act like... We don't want to act like the Treaty of Versailles and the Weimar Republic weren't things that... I guess we don't want to... We want to pretend that somebody like Hitler is something that couldn't just happen to everybody. That it's just something unique to him. And it's really not. You read his book, he really does come across, outside of his race bullshit, he comes across like a guy who's just in a society with bad economics, and he's trying to find a reason for it. And why his government's going to hell and all this other crap back in his youth. Like, you can see why the guy becomes who he becomes. And instead of sitting around acting like that's just something unique to him, like, no, a lot. I do see where the left thinks that it's repeating. Of course, on their side, they're repeating the same terrifying bullshit from the commie side. Like, and that's like there's a part in his book where he's talking about how like the reason he hated communists was like, I guess in his youth or something, like he tried to join. He needed a job, and so he tries to just join up and do whatever. And they threaten to kick his ass if he doesn't join their union, but he didn't want to pay dues unnecessarily to some guy. And so rather than deal with any of that, he just quits the job. The bigger lesson is not that we didn't go through our own struggles like that with unions or whatever. It's like nowadays it's like, well, they don't want to openly admit it. But it's not just, again, illegals have just as much to do with politics as they do labor forces. Unions came into being, either communist or, you know, whatever the hell we call it in the West. And to get around paying them, or getting around, like, sometimes you hear, like, stories of, like, you know, weird stuff where you're like, why would they care about that? You know, like, independent filmmakers trying to make a film, but he's not union, so they're going to go protest this guy who's got, like, maybe $1 million to make a film anyways. Like, he couldn't afford them, that's why he didn't hire them. It wasn't a matter of, you know, he didn't want to really break the system. It's just he can't afford them. So initially, companies will be on board with them because, you know, big ones that'll consolidate their power. But once they're the only game in town, then they'll start trying to get rid of them through illegals or whatever here in Europe. You know, I don't know how feminism plays in all of that too, because again, they also use the argument, well, you know, your birth rate's dropping, so, you know, we got to do something here. Somebody's got to come replace our workforce. Makes you wonder if that was a part of the scam too. It's just not a very good scam. That's why I sit there and think like it's an evil plan that just kind of formed out of nowhere. Yeah, I'm gonna go turn that off in a minute. That guy he's detecting like fish in the water and shit like that. But that's definitely the lesson for nowadays, though. It's just, you look at it and you go, holy shit, we really have done this before. It's just, how you got up to Hitler last time was World War One. Luckily, we haven't really went through that, but man fights for his country. Man gets injured for his country. Man's country goes to hell economically. He's a young man, so it gets screwed over. He's pissed off now. He doesn't get to have the same life that his parents had before him, or better. It's going to create problems. And he starts looking for what the causes are. Well, foreigners within the country, because they have no attachment to your country or culture. They don't care. Religion, the leaders, whoever, you know, they're going to sell you out. Like, it's a shocking read, I will say that, because you're expecting just foaming at the mouth racism constantly. I didn't finish it. It gets very boring at parts, and I'm just like, whatever, fine, yeah, I get it. It's not... The main reason I read it was just to see if he really was some Bible thumper, because they kept saying that, and he is not. In fact, he makes it very clear that he is not a fan of faith at all, which is, again, how people from the 40s talk about him. don't know if there's enough sap there to make a cake. Oh, there was. Okay. But like I said, this being dishonest about what created him is kind of some of the problems too. You boogeyman him too much. Like, I mean, you watch any documentary on it. The ultimate evil of the universe. We fought him. Like, really? He's worse than Genghis Khan? I don't know about that. I'm gonna go with no. Like, Genghis Khan didn't lose. Hitler did lose. Like, see, I don't know what to do with this biotoxin. There's nothing to use it for. What can we possibly use this for? I don't know. I just know it's taking up space that I don't need it to. Alright. You know what? That's great, buddy. I'm sorry. Shut up, please. Yeah, look at that. He just starts hammering down that shit. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I'm supporting any of his viewpoints or anything like that. I'm just saying that when you read his book, you're not like overly shocked that the guy comes to... He walks you through his point of view, and you're like not overly shocked by how he gets to that. I think a lot of it too was well, yeah, the commies won on the other side, unfortunately. We made a deal with the devil. So that mess stayed around longer. I don't know. I don't know which one was going to be better in the long run. Well, no. That's what we're seeing. Like, it's just weird to me that socialism always seems to descend into communism. Well, not really, because it just seems like a weaker version of it. That's fine. For those of you wondering, yes, I did paint the skin. I think I showed that. But if not, that's what happened. And I like the skin because it cuts down on the tail size. Makes them far more manageable. And they actually look like something that, you know, I don't know why they went with the old school brontosaur. Maybe because they didn't want to do a patasaur with the stance that would be controversial. I don't know. I don't mind. They did Oviraptor still is eating eggs. What's the big deal on that? They pretty much proved that that wasn't true. They didn't even change its name. Its name means egg thief. Oh, did I did give him the JP colors, didn't I? It looks good though. A little bit more bite so they can eat those penguins better. Meantime, what's he want? Oh, damn it. That'd be great if they just made the AI go out there and just go clean up all the poop on the ground. It would make you want to have one. It'd be easier to detect eggs if we did that. it's gonna be a roughing, guys. It's gonna be rough. It's gonna rain. Yeah, we're gonna slow down battery usage even more. Add another decimal. I think I'm at 0.004 right now on that. What the hell is going on here? Something strange. What the fuck? Oh man. What did I do wrong? Yet they move just fine. I don't. The fuck, man? Weird. New glitch, I guess. Okay, so that's done. They're in groups. That's done. Trobs are taken care of. Cakes are made. Guess now it's just what's next on the docket, one way or the other. Didn't get too much taming done. Maybe it's time to start making some inroads. See, but you know, I feel weird about trying to tame a bunch of sea guys anymore. Like, you know, in my very first playthrough, we tamed everybody. But I'll be honest with you, what's the damn point? It feels so pointless because you just, ugh. Keto, yeah, when we topped off with gasoline last night and everything. farmed pearls yesterday. Should be good for a while. A while. You know what? I would like to have some more pearls before I go. Try not to leave them off in worse shape. I may change server locales too, as well, to help boost people's connectivity. But it's a little risky that you may erase everything. I mean, it makes backups of everything. I'm just not too familiar with how they do it. There is a lot of Tyrannosaurus Rexes around now. Holy shit. 3 of them just down the river. Yeesh. Also, seriously, jellyfish right outside our door. You can't make that shit up. Please don't get mad sharks. I think the server resets at night no matter what. Which now explains why my animal populations look right again. Hopefully, it works for the cave, because that's why we started all that crap, to fix our cave issues. I honestly, well, there's two sides to every argument, right? Look at that. That's so fucking ridiculous. Fucked up. Nessie trying to sneak in. I present to you what's wrong with art. I don't know who wrote, well, I guess I do know. Michael Crichton and David Cope, right? But seriously, who wrote the line when Malcolm's sitting there in the Jeep? Oh, that's a impact tremor. Like, yeah, okay. It was kind of terrifying to think that there's a giant goddamn squid right outside the door right now. You think they're just sitting there waiting by the entrance, waiting to fuck us up? I hope not. I don't know where all this crazy talk about Eurypterids always being outside or in these caves. I've never ran into one. Yet. Ever. In fact, until I went to the first sea cave, I didn't even think they were actually in the game. I thought it was a glitch. I assume that's why they put them in such a predominant spot in Ragnarok. Oh, get ready for a gut check. Yeah, screw you, buddy. Really? Me and you aren't gonna get along, fishy. I see other people are trying to mod in. Oh, what is that? That Leviathan Melvani. The prehistoric sperm whale, basically. And there's part of me that's like, I just don't know how terrifying he would be over a regular sperm whale. Like, his mouth's bigger, big deal. It's kind of like Megalodon, you know? Like, unless you go with, like, the more outlandish claims on size here, they went really conservative with his size. Basically keeping him to Jaws length. I take it somebody really enjoyed the Jaws franchise. I mean, I liked them. Hell, I specifically remember in '93 watching Jaws 3 over and over before I ever got to see JP. I've never fully understood how they intended for you to take care of certain things. Anything of value here? Nope. Your oil, that's about it. You know what, honestly, I'm pretty sure I'm good on teeth for a while. You go to the ocean a lot, you will fill up on stupid shark teeth. I think they always had that. I don't remember now, honestly. I know somebody's kept all those iterations of the game. That's kind of the stuff that is interesting too, how because they don't want to release a sequel like they used to now, I guess in a lot of ways it is safer just to keep modifying the game that already exists. The only shame about it all is that it changes the game. Well, again, and they learn from companies like Battlefield that you can't force everyone to buy the DLC so that splinters your group off. So what you do is you just change the game and you force everyone to suck down the change. The crazy part is that it changes the game so damn much. Like, even the user interface is different from when I started playing. But entire species are different. Hell, Spinosaurus up in the rivers everywhere. Sarcosuchus is up in the Arctic now. That's still Like, why is he there? I can buy Spino maybe. Because, yeah, okay, it's flowing water. Fine, I guess it's warmer. But Sarko, come on, man. What's he gonna do? Go bask out in the snow? Like he's not a debatable reptile bird guy. He's a straight up reptile. There's no getting around what he is. You know, he's slave to the temperature. Well, they thought that about great whites too. Hell, I was watching a show where they were I don't know. They were measuring the breadth of sea turtles because they were one of the second largest reptile on the planet. Trying to compare that to see if maybe they were warm-blooded, and they were not. Of course, biologists aren't like chemistry whizzes, so you know. Anyways. Let's see, what are we at? So much easier. Find yourself a pearl cave, kids. The only other one I've been to all of them. At one point, I threw a bed in all of them. I'll tell you, that in and of itself was an interesting procedure. Oh, yeah, let's check the armor there. I didn't even think to look. 'Cause I think of it taking certain pieces, but yeah, no, yeah. Yeah, nope. Nope. Nothing good. I don't know who made the full cut. Oh, well, there you go. WT did. I wonder if they did that in there so you could yell at people for wasting resources. Why did you make that stupid-ass riot shield? It seemed like a good idea. You know how often you use shields in this game? Virtually never! Something else I find interesting is that when I left the Battlefield series, they still had the freaking battle log. Like, I've seen the rise and the fall of the battle log. You know, like, man, what a joke that is. Probably because they got tired of all the feedback. They got tired of hearing that DICE doesn't listen, and really you're just sitting there. Hey, DICE, are you ever going to do something that we want? Like, pick a side and commit to it. I guarantee you the other side will probably stay. Well, okay, that's a lie, isn't it? Your daffy over-the-top bullshit, yeah. And your vehicle hating definitely made me finally leave. I'll get Arma when it comes out, if it ever comes to our side. And I feel like something like Art could eventually morph into something else itself. Like this, he removed the RPG elements, at least. You could make this into a shooter. You just gotta keep, you know, like you can't adjust your stats really. But as far as like blood packs and all that other stuff, Ark does a pretty good job actually. Certainly doesn't limit everything to an EKG machine. Some of the other things I did like about Hardline, just their, you know, I don't know. Hardline again, I think gets, I want to say, unfairly and fairly hated. Like, I hated the concept of that game so much, and I didn't play it for months. I don't even remember why I bought it. I think it was because they had the snub-nosed revolver in it. I thought it was really interesting that a game was willing to try that in a shooter. I'm like, okay, maybe they're really committing to the cop concept. And they kind of did, but not really. I mean, it is true what Battlefield Friends talked about. Like, then they got RPGs in the game and stuff, but, you know, I mean, yeah, police don't have RPGs. And criminals using RPGs would definitely get the military sicked on them in about a second. And they were dealing with all the blowback of the, was it around Trayvon Martin? Or Ferguson, Missouri? One of those two events was going on at the time, so the whole discussion of the militarization of the police was blah, 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 blah. Kind of like SOCOM 4 or 5 whenever, the Lizard Squad or whatever took down PlayStation. SOCOM 4 actually would have had a shitload of good publicity having a Navy SEALs directly made game, and they go and get Bin Laden, and PlayStation's down, so you can't even really play the game outside of its shitty ass single player, and it was already getting all Call of Duty by that point. I mean, I would even go as far to say that if SOCOM Constipation had came out at that point. See, I feel like, again, this whole trying to please, you know, like, that's a game that doesn't really try to please anybody. Minecraft doesn't. Minecraft's just Minecraft. At least under Mojang or whatever it was. Or Mojang. However the hell you say it. Probably Mojang, knowing them. But Minecraft was just Minecraft, you know? It's just how they did the game. They didn't adjust a ton of things. You don't like it? Pound sand. I've got to park these guys in a better way. And they, to a certain extent, do that, but the way they do it nowadays is like they do it in a way where both sides hear it and groan. Like the real unrealistic, over the top, I just want to play a game where magically I always win and never am killed by anybody kitty side. And lots of stupid retarded shit like a flaming unicorn that shoots laser beams from his eyes. That side. And then you got, you know, the teamwork realism guys like me. Like when they release a game nowadays, both sides are grown because both sides are still unhappy. Like, you can't please us both. And as I find, I will say this about gaming. In the 90s, PlayStation learned to go for teens and young adults. That paid off in the long run, because now you have adults playing games, you know. And the PC side did too. Nintendo basically evolved into their niche of children only, which sucked for me because I had an N64. But that all being said, there's the other drawback to all of this, which is at the end of the day, the adult side I find as you get older in gaming, you just play what you want to play. And I didn't understand that with some of my older friends, why they would never, ever, ever branch out into other games. It's because they've been there, done that, or at least I have. And you're like, especially with multiplayer games, where you're like, I'm not really playing the game because I enjoy it. I'm playing it because of, you know, such and such, X or Y, whoever I'm friends with, you know. And at some point, you eventually get over that. And you're like, look, I like you as a friend, but once they had party chat, it changed everything. Party chat allows you to play different games, and the world's not going to end. I mean, that was a problem when we first got PS4. Like, there was people still upset with me for not going and running over to the new Call of Duty or the new Battlefield. Like, when BF4 came out, I could give two shits less. Like, well, that looks gay and miserable. It is. It's even worse than you think. And you're like, okay. You should come play it with us. Like, well, you just made it sound horrible. Yeah, but we can play together. And you're like, but why? That's what eventually led to some of my problems down the road with some people. But it is what it is, you know? You can't please everybody. But my point is, with game developers, is that they're still trying to be that blockbuster hit that makes everybody happy. You can't do that. Like, why one game or the other will catch on fire? It's for totally different reasons. And I think if Call of Duty actually drops a Call of Duty worth playing for free, you'll see my points about Fortnite. Although, again, Activision clearly thinks like I do. That's the only reason anyone gives a flying fuck about Fortnite, is because it's free. Because I would look at it and go, well, Fortnite went, it came out about this time last year and no one bought our shitty game. I know. 6 months in, let's just give it out to everybody. Well, you got all the kids and stoners who don't have jobs. And then you had the few nuts that had already bought your game, you know, and were unimpressed with it. Like, I knew a few people who bought it when it first came out and tried to talk it up a little bit. But really, in the end, you just couldn't get into it. Man, I really don't want to go outside. We got 3 tyrannosaurs outside now. I have to go kill all of them. Wait, I don't need... Yeah, I'm forgetting that I have... I forget that I have it on the grinder. Never mind, I don't need to go outside. So Activision's going to try the theory, I guess, with Black Ops. I think the problem Activision has is they forget that they're Activision, and then everyone's sick and damn tired of Call of Duty already. Well, most people are. Kids aren't. No, that's not even true. From what I can tell, even the kids are getting bored with that shit. I hate to say it, but this might be the year that they get flat out beat by Rockstar coldly, and they will not hear the end of that. Because Red Dead kind of became legendary. Even though, like, and I played, I mean, Red Dead Redemption, I played to a level like I play Arcs now. I played the teetotal fuck out of that game. Like, I don't think I've ever done it with any other game except maybe Ark, where I played it like 6 months straight. Only that. Every game mode. Single player, multiplayer. I loved that game. There were some complaints I had with it, but otherwise I loved it. And the only reason it's not platinum on my trophies is because of glitches, because I got it early on, you know? So, like, I tamed every horse in it, but, you know, like, I didn't get that trophy. I 100%ed, what was it? Yeah, all 3 modes. Literally all 3 modes. I even saved a backup the minute I did it, because I was worried about, yeah, back then, you know, they didn't do the online server stuff as much, so. I'm talking about 2010 here. Red Dead was was the second game I ever took vacation for. And it was mostly worth it. It was that good. But admittedly, its multiplayer wasn't so hot. It had some good ideas in it, but it never followed through on all of them. It was more like, oh, hey, that's a good idea. Why don't we do something with that? Whatever. And I realize now a lot of that was because they were working on 5. And they had really big plans for 5. Because even buying 5 the day it came out, they already had like the PlayStation store set up for it and everything. Of course, the online wasn't ready right off the bat, so that was an issue. And I know I 100%ed that one on PS3, and I started 2 on 4. I don't know if I did or didn't. I don't even remember why I played the single player so heavily, other than being unemployed initially. I mean, they had added stuff like whales into it, so it was different, but that's what shocks me so much. That, and it was at the end of the life cycle of PS3. So it kind of felt like it was a really late entry to the party there. Like, I won't lie, I'll give people this, that if you go back and you look at GTA 4 and then all the Saints Rows that come in between before 5 comes out, I can see how you think that Saints Row is going to win at the end, because 4 wasn't so hot, and 4 was a step back. Oh, and why is everyone going to make a damn universe of everything, by the way, kids? Seriously, I don't get that. Well, in the GTA universe, like, well, that's the 3D version. The other one was the I forget what they call the other one. Oh no, they're mixing the two universes. I'm so confused. Like, but there was always mixing of the two universes. It was strange. Like, yes, 4 didn't acknowledge the previous games as much, but yet Laszlo was still Laszlo, you know. I don't know. I've been a fan of GTA since 2, so I've been on their side since what, 99 or 2000? Whenever the hell that came out. And so some of the stuff, like when GTA 3 first came out, it wasn't a hit for like till Christmas basically. So it came out in like October. It was a good few months. It was just that ratty controversial game that, you know, looked like shit, except now it was in 3D, so that changed everything. Thanks. I'm gonna need you to like stay out of my business. But yeah, I could definitely see it this year. I could see this finally being the year that GTA gets, or not GTA, Red Dead finally topples COD. Like, I think that's why they started positioning themselves in October. And a lot of why Call of Duty wins anymore isn't even because Call of Duty deserves the win. It's just that everyone stopped releasing their games around the same time as them. Except for like when they're forced to in November, when it's, you know, you're trying to get it to the Christmas market. But they're going to try to go head-to-head with COD. We'll see. I mean, after looking at, like, what World War II actually was, unless you've never ever played a Call of Duty, if you're playing that, you know, what the hell? I don't know what they think's going to happen to them. I'd love to see what a bunch of these guys in a boss fight look like. I feel like you could definitely hem the boss in. Well, we don't want a guy who can easily kill everything at once. But you gotta admit, if you're still excited about anything Call of Duty's doing, why? Like, they haven't had an original idea in years. That's more like when you hear the sequel to a movie franchise that doesn't need a sequel. Oh boy! Saw 7! Like, yay. They got the loot box system down even better this time. I gotta admit, I am surprised that they held on for as long as they have. The shooter craze has lasted way longer than the fighting game craze ever did back in the 90s. But just like the 90s, you can see the cracks. It's there. It's just like the fighting game phase toward the end. It's just totally different franchise. Well, that and things have changed too. Like basically the two main combatants of the fighting games still exist, although fighting games are their own thing. I'm just talking about the evolution of their competition with each other. I don't know what we're gonna do about that damn ladder either. It really pisses me off. That thing went all the way down. It was rolled up and it somehow got damaged. Just gonna need one of those removable ones, I swear to God. I will spawn that in when the time comes. Anyways, point is, Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter are still around. They didn't go anywhere. Medal of Honor's gone. Like the first real, I mean, I don't want to say the second generation of shooters, because the first one I consider like Wolfenstein, Doom, those guys. But like the first big console one, or like Medal of Honor and SOCOM, those guys. Halo. And Halo's died, Medal of Honor's died. Everybody kicked the bucket hard in the end. They didn't just die, they died to where you're like, where the hell is this franchise at anymore, you know? It's strange to me. But again, now you could argue that Street Fighter existed for so long because they stayed to that shitty-ass 2D format for almost, well, over a decade. And actually had a fan base that was willing to put up with that shit and actually trying to argue with people that it was a good thing. MK, I say, stomach it up for years after 3. Became pretty much the fare of redneck trash. And minorities with no taste. And then somewhere along the way, when they started pushing 9 again, it's like, hey, we found a way to finally do 3D and 2D. And made it work, whereas Street Fighter started trying to adapt to fight Tekken, you know, years after they should have fought Tekken. Like, basically, the Tekken years, they just cowered in the Capcom shit. And Tekken easily won. We still want to talk. I don't know. Yeah, Tekken was always the chess of those series to me, not Street Fighter. Or Virtua Fighter, but Virtua Fighter was too boring. To me, anyways, that is. Which is what it is, just a quarter. Don't put it in your pocket. Let me go get these narco berries. Well, you think you have a lot until you go and... Yep. Anyways, though. My point is that shooters did not follow that. Somehow Street Fighter and MK are still around, having successfully reinvented themselves. And I know Medal of Honor already tried reinvention, and oh my god, do not hand that to fucking DICE ever again. Ever. Under any circumstance. Tell those drunk Swedes to go get a real job. Listen, you can ruin people's childhoods on your own time. But I want to ruin them now. Right, but you guys suck. You're not getting it. He moves around a lot for a damn shit-eating beetle. I'll take that, thanks. Wow, that was fast. I just realized that. Sitting here looking at it like, oh yeah, we were... Well, it's already done. Jeez. Let me take the big bruiser out. She should be better at it than him anyways. She's got the tail swing for it. It's just... It's a waste of time to take her because she doesn't rank up. Still, I guess it comes down to what are we trying to do here, huh? I do like how this skin actually shortens their tail. Oh, you know what? I need to bring that ladder up so it doesn't get damaged more. Nice, you can just pick that up. You can with the new DLC stuff. I know. So you would not be able to do that as an older brontosaur. That long ass tail would be in the way. This is stuff you can't do, period. Still can't safely dismount these guys, ever. Now, they put more of a critical emphasis on crops, then Phiomia would have way more need for existence in this game. Shut up. If you haven't noticed, I have turned up oh man, you go do this in the swamps, you will fill up so fast. Oh, seriously? I thought they were better at getting over rocks now. Well, we refuse to give him the stride. None of my business. Okay, now I'm really curious to know what killed Rexy. Usually the only guys that can fail him is a Bronto. Or another large pack of predators. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's days like that I miss having tech doors. Until I have them, and then I wish I didn't. Because they're equally annoying on the other side of that argument. 20-to-4 ratio. That makes sense. Like I said, though, I also got this just weird hunch that this may be the year that Rockstar finally slips too. Like I said, they came dangerously close on GTA Online. And they're definitely teetering right outside of it. It's just, for some reason, we're tolerating it. I guess because, well, for one, because by the time they really started doing it, they were kind of already out of the scene. Like, they're not getting watched as closely as they would. Had they done this, I don't know. Basically what happened is, they drop their game, they get all the praise, and oh my god, Rockstar's back, blah blah blah. Then they pull all the bullshit, you know, a year or two after. So it's just like, oh hey, GTA's got some new offerings, you know, instead of, hey, every time you buy a car in GTA, give it about 6 months and they will ruin it. Because they'll add a new car and they'll give it a new top speed, and so you'll have to sit there and constantly test. Oh, and by the way, yeah, they're not going to print stats like, you know, top speed or acceleration so that you can actually know. Damn sure don't want you doing that. But I feel like they're going to have bigger problems with Red Dead trying to do it, because unless they do, like, really over-the-top stuff, like buying a ranch or something, I don't see how you could do it. I mean, what are you going to sell people? 1,000,000 variations of a horse? 1,000,000 variations of a peacemaker pistol? Like, there's only so many guns back then, too. Clothing? Tons of clothing options? Have gambling come back and actually pay real money, like some of those gambling games do. Pay real money to gamble. Well, it's like, well, if I can buy chips or whatever, then why not just let me, like GTA Cash, you know? I assume it'll be that again. So as much as I may love the few games that I've tried since, shoot, I mean, there's so few Western franchises out there, and it seems like something that could be aching for a video game. I think Call of Juarez proved that, and then they immediately turned around and ran away from it. They're a weird game too. You know, it's such a good concept. It was different from the other shooters. They were still able to do some of the stereotypical cowboy shit, and it didn't kill the game, and then they just somehow found a way to screw that up and just gave up on it. Went to this DEA thing. Like, I know that's what I was wanting. So Red Dead comes out there and proves that you can kill off virtually numerous franchises at once. And that's the one thing I'll say about GTA is that I assume that's almost what everyone's imitating. GTA's ability to, because they just do society basically. Yeah, you're playing a criminal because he's the most free member of society in a lot of ways. Well, a psychopathic criminal who doesn't give a shit anymore. Imagine if they did GTA realistic, where there's actually consequences or people busting down your door in the middle of the night. But GTA's always been like a satire as well, so they can't really do that. They could never go realistic. Closest they did was LA Noire, and from what I understand, LA Noire was never going to be a GTA game. Or a Rockstar game. It's just that Bondi was going down and they already had this game like 80% done or something, and they just sold themselves to Rockstar because they were the most similar to them. Just had to think about what might have been. That wasn't a terrible game franchise either. I thought, like, if you really want to do something different in GTA and do multiple characters, don't do multiple criminals. Do like one side's the cop, one side's the criminal, and they're pursuing each other, or you know, one's pursuing the other, like a Breaking Bad almost. And I am curious to see how, because Breaking Bad that was the year that it really started smashing out. So I'd be curious to see how Rockstar handles that, and the meth and the heroin epidemic. Like all these unglamorous drugs. I mean, the game's always had selling drugs, but it's never really did too much as far as a negative portrayal of showing like users and their screwed up lives. Well, that's not true. I take that back. They had Lost and Damned, but again, only Xboxers saw that if they were still wanting to play it. I think the bigger question I have is, I wish I could go back to 2008 and play GTA 4 again and see if they really did have the seeds for all the characters in there, or if they were just adding them in retroactively. Like, I know like Luis from Ballad of Gay Tony is in the bank robbery in 4. And he shows up in a few other scenes, and I do remember there was a guy who kept randomly showing up in those scenes. They never did anything with the character, and I'm like, oh, well, maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But I am interested to see what they come up with for Red Dead 2. I'm surprised too that they are staying with the same characters, honestly. Like, I don't feel like you have to stay with John Marston. I feel like some of the reasons, especially nowadays, I mean, again, 2010 was a different time. It's weird to say it like that, but it still was politically correct, and games and anything in entertainment always has been, but GTA has always kind of skirted around it by being satire. But they dodged a lot of bullshit in the American West by setting themselves into the later part of the era. I mean, what, 1905 or whatever? So, like, when you're sitting there looking at a black gang in Armadillo going, okay, look, you know, this is the West, and this is supposed to be presumably Texas or New Mexico or Arizona. So let's be honest here, they wouldn't be around. Or, you know, I didn't mind them doing it in the multiplayer, having like women and stuff, because again, it's like, well, it's the West. They're not. It's still the Victorian era. It's unbelievable, yes, very unbelievable, but this isn't something that's like a world. I guess that's the thing with the shooters, right? They'll sit there and go, well, you don't mind it when Red Dead does it. It's like, it's because Red Dead's a lot of other bullshit. Oh God, can you imagine that? We're gonna accurately portray racism. I mean, well, hell, that's what Mafia 3 tried. Good God, that game sucks so bad. That game is so terrible. I don't even know why they tried to release a DLC thinking anyone would be aching for it. Ooh, what is it like? Mafia 3 faster. Like, the game, it's why you can't do things realistic and have a political message with them. Because, for one, the racism seems over the top in some ways and under the top in others. Like, they're still doing the whole portrayal of Klansmen as just a bunch of sissy wimps. Like, let's be honest, they walked around and beat people up in broad daylight and would murder them and shit. Like, you know, the only people they ever counted to was the FBI, because the FBI just took the gloves off and started straight up murdering them. Back in a time when that's probably like one of the few groups you could still just straight up murder and no one would bat an eye about. But then again, you know, if you do it fairly, then everyone's going to start crying. You start murdering all the race groups, then everyone will start, oh, well, no, these guys were actually, you know, like, everyone views, like, the Klan and the Nazis in a specific light over here, but they don't view the Black Panthers in the same light as they should. Those guys are good guys. No, they're the exact same as the Nazis. They're just black. That's the only difference. They're racial supremacists. And they're violent. Ooh, yeah. Talking about a franchise that just gave up on what it was good about it. Mafia 2 had so many cool and good ideas that they just pissed all of them away. And for what? I don't know. And it came out just like Batman at a perfect time when there was nothing else out and you could appreciate the game in all its glory. Like sometimes August games that aren't Madden, because, yeah, Madden's another one. Madden and FIFA. Franchises that are finally just, will you die already, please? Yeah, no. Mafia in the end, Mafia 3, PU. Forgot everything that you wanted to like about the series. Everything that you wanted to like wasn't there. And then it has all this weird race shit. Trying to tie it in that you're just a good guy criminal. Like, wait, so you were a criminal group. Then you get betrayed by like some Italians or something. Somehow this leads to you fighting the Klan. And, I mean, I played the damn game, and that was kind of where I was at with it. Like, they tried. It's kind of like Red Dead. They tried stuff to portray the era, But unlike Red Dead, the stuff got too much in the way of the story. To where you're like really, it's almost like a blaxploitation film. Where you're like trying not to roll your eyes every few minutes. Like, wow, this is so retarded. It would have been better if they just called the game like Black Dynamite 2, except without the humor. Like you just expected at any minute your character to go, oh man, it's the white man. It's Nixon. It's all about the dicks. Or whatever. Some stupid shit about like what the movie Black Dynamite was about. Just retarded, over the top fun. But instead this game was trying to do the super serious portrayal, and again, over the top, racist. Almost like a Spike Lee-esque portrayal of a racist. Where I'm a racist, but I'm a chicken shit coward. Like, but it's in an era when they wouldn't have been chicken shit cowards. Like, it's in an era when they're violent and dangerous people that would kill you in a heartbeat. And only back down, not because of criminal gangs, but because, again, well, the government got involved and started murdering them. It shocks me that this chews through every freaking stone out there. Ugh, yeah. Ugh, what a waste. That game could have been so cool, and it wasn't. It wasn't. Oh, it was bad. On so many levels, it was bad. Yeah, I do need to move to bed finally. Well, on polymer, huh? But I really feel what the main issue would, oh god, with keep forgetting carrying rocks. With Red Dead will be somehow their microtransaction system is going to just be a massive pain in the ass. Like I know they would like to do things a certain way, but they're not going to be able to. They'll try it. It'll kill their game. So unless Rockstar has realized that the reason they were able to get away with the bullshit they were able to get away with on GTA Online is because they were out of the spotlight. You're down to the diehards and the people who don't have enough money to buy another game. Or people who just finally wanted to try GTA. And it really didn't get even that bad until, honestly, 2016? Whenever they started doing all the VIP stuff. That's when it started going really nuts. Like, from the yacht forward, everything got expensive and crazy. I mean, you could buy stuff before. I'd put money into it before. Actually, I don't. Because I know for the longest I didn't put a dime into it. And I prided myself on that. And then it went the other way where it's like, I want to see what this submarine or whatever is going to be like, you know? So many of those things aren't even worth it. They're just pointlessly there. Like, you have a submarine. You have facilities to sell stolen cars. There's too much shit to manage, too, for one player. And that's the thing. It's one player that manages all of it. Oh, we barely got it in that department, huh? Yeah, I guess at some point we will have to deal with the next part of that. It's very jacked for a gray-haired dude. Looking like 70-year-old Sylvester Stallone over there up on the roids. I ain't on steroids. This is how you're supposed to look when you're 70. It's really 70 people. So I don't know, man. In the end, Rockstar may pull this one off. I think this is the beginning of their end as well. I think they will probably finally embarrass Call of Duty. Call of Duty will be beaten by an open world game. And they won't even be beaten by GTA, they'll be beaten by Red Dead. Which, I mean, that makes me proud and sad all at once, because it's like, well, you didn't even get the full brunt. Call of Duty chickened out last time. Or GTA chickened out last time. They went September. You know, the real reason I haven't put a zip line over here is that I have no idea how I would even do it. Well, that wouldn't last too. Yeah. I really wish you could tuck those rafts back in. That's a Therizinosaur. And I don't know why he's over here. Or why he's chose to wear such weird armor. Or have purple on him. God damn, Bone. Taking your skins, by the way. And that. And that. You can keep that. You know what? I'm just going to take all your shit. And I'm taking that. Okay, thanks. How did this get damaged? What on earth was able to hit right? Oh, we tried to tame somebody up here. Man, the fog is bad. This is what happens when somebody goes a little too nuts on the railing. Hey, that's how we could do a shark cage, though, isn't it? Come here, Boone. Where is your... Thank you. I don't see the Rexies. I was right about there, Xenosaur. I still have two, so why not? You know, yeah. I don't know. We'll see. A lot of that just needs the ability to zoom out with that damn boat. Well, a lot of it is just it's a two-man boat. How is it not now? I don't think we're running out of the alpha skin anytime soon. Or ever. Yeah. I'd say they're about the only guys that can get in the base either way. And I may change that too. That's really annoying. Well, that's weird. It's kind of like the, let's see what they changed in, hold on. So Scorched Earth. They totally rewrote that, didn't they? Yeah, see, there's some weird glitch with that one. Now we can go check. Actually, no, this is flyover. This used to be the guy to tame, it really was. Went from 3 Rexes and a Spino to nobody? Did they all die? There's a Rex egg and some Microraptors. Where did the Rexies go? There's a different Spino. Did they fight the Spino? That might explain what happened to one of the Rexes. What happened to the other ones, though? We didn't fight them. What level is this guy? Well, maybe they were low-level Rexes. Still, 56 Therizinosaur, I don't think it's going to take out 3 Rexes. Not a natural one. One of mine, sure, but... Wow. Though you always have to take into consideration what he's fighting against. Because if that's a high-level steg, I put my money on steg then. Steg's not exactly a slouch in the fighting department. Is that 2 alphas? No, just 1. And a stupid tech steg. How did we lose all those guys that fast? We didn't fight a single one of them. It's almost nonsensical. What the hell did we put up here to try to tame that was that small? They didn't just walk off into the jungle, did they? Seems very unlike them. Yeah, no, you'd notice. That's strange. I saw one of them dead. I wonder what got the others. I've seen a gig down here one time, ever. He was on the hill behind me, and he never came over to base, thank God. Because I didn't want to find out how good he was at chewing on a fence. A natural one. I thought about aggroing one just to walk him over and see what would happen. I mean, they can follow you if they want to. If you go slow enough, they will. Well, I doubt they all ran themselves against my spines. Because where that one was dead at was not normally an area where we'd have got him. I thought maybe piranhas, but I just don't see a Rex losing the piranhas. I don't even think they attack wild creatures, do they? It's very strange. They get it up north. Or I get it when there's a bunch of brontosaurs around. They just bite off more than they can chew, and Bronto will make them pay for that every time. Every time. Strange. Let's take somebody who's not going to get me killed as fast. Carno. I don't know, that's weird. Normally you always see the alpha or the whatever that they may be stupidly crossed and... Holy shit. That low level ass loser has kicked everybody's ass so far. And now he's about to die, probably. Oh, maybe not. I can't tell if they can gain levels or not. Oh, Rex is dead. Yeah, he's dead. Or he defeated both Triceratopses. Oh shoot. Holy crap. How the hell is Bronto losing this? He had all the time in the world to get more hits on him. Oh, well, I take it back. That Rex is going to kill everyone. And deflate the Brontosaur. The snakes are getting close too. Very strange. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Dead Rexes and no explanation. No large prey to have taken them out. And no large predators to have fought against them. And the Spino's gone too. That's not a shock on Spino, admittedly. He's always dying. Well, that explains what happens to microraptors now. I always wonder when they're hard to find. They kill themselves, I see. You know what I've yet to see in this game is an Alpha Rex. Well, on this playthrough so far. No, I take that back. We have ran into one. Oh, do I have to have some trophy from Titanosaur? I do have to kill him, don't I? I don't even know how we're gonna kill him. That always seemed much farther away than it really is. Stranger. Very strange. I miss it when you could reliably find one down here. What? Watch him be like insanely high level too. It's decent. It's not great. Let's help you out there, buddy. Get off that island. Oh, you're stuck. Oh, that's sad. Yeah, oh well. Is what it is. We've had Titanosaur be damn close too, actually, because he used to. He'd either be at that island or he'd be consistently down this river. Like, we have had him literally outside the gates. But since there was no need to fight him, it really wasn't a big deal. Whereas I'm pretty sure a Gig or an Alpha Rex, that could be problematic. Very problematic. But it looks like the server's been set up to wipe itself every night, so nice part about this is that the populations will stay up. The shitty part about it will be that you can't clear anything out for very long. You'll clear it out for a day. I may fix its reset time. because I like being able to clear things out. I just don't like having to go manually destroy wild dinos. I do like the surprise of coming on and not knowing what's outside. It definitely makes the game different. You see, like, there's a lot more alleys spotted around, too. Let's get some altitude. I don't want to deal with them. No idea where he's at. Strange. You know, with all we've been able to do with platform saddles now, I am tempted to tame a Paraceratherium. We can make him good. Like I said, one way or the other, even if we do a straight up normal playthrough on the other ones, I will be sending some stuff over this time. Maybe not firearms, but I guess with Scorched Earth I can't send the boat over, but I could send a platform saddle over. Allow people to get a Paracer real early. I wish you could set conditions a little bit better. And I always planned on sending kibbles. Dude, who's he fighting now? Swamp's getting a little too close. I don't think there's many weaknesses on that side. Yeah. No, we should be fine. Although I may switch Spino to being a defender because he can handle everybody. Might take a little bit longer than I'd like, but if the asshole can fight an Alpha Mosasaur and not die, of course he didn't win, but not die, then I think we're okay. That's some crazy shit. Ark's always an interesting game to me, the way it evolves. Jesus. Yeah. Spike Fence has its pluses and negatives. Good job, Stag. Hold on. I know how to get. Is it glitching out and just teleporting them up and over? did that one legitimately... How did we not see him? See, they spawn shit in at random. I noticed that because I keep having Rexes spawn nearby roaring like a mother. No. Oh, yeah, okay, so it's not him. That was just a random Rex coming over the side, huh? Well, between the fall damage and the spike damage that they take, yeah, they're not too successful once they get over. Hey, buddy. You know what you're gonna be? Jeez, man. Can't even go off and ramble. Don't walk outside that room. We'll be waiting for you, buddy. We'll be waiting. The minute you walk outside the room, we're gonna appear in your bed. I'm still a firm believer in the metal spike wall now. I was never a fan until this playthrough. I mean, I don't know on official servers that they still have that turned off because of people abusing the living hell out of spike walls, trying to get people not to spawn on their server. But I will say, they are slick. The only drawback is shit running itself into your walls all the time, and at least now I don't have to, I don't know. In the past, we always had gaps in the fences, and we just put pillars there. It's never a big deal. Just how we did it. Now, we do it this way, and it seems to have paid off for the most part. For the most part, it's been okay. But I won't lie, some of this other stuff, jeez Louise, man. That's why I leave the numbers on. So I can see what the hell's going on. If I need to crap my pants or not. I don't know why the game has cruelly went through and made all these creatures go and commit suicide on my spike walls. They seem to treat spike walls as something that you need to run into. Which I don't like. Any more than I've liked their annoying AI that you stand outside and passive animals will just walk into you. I get that's how you get predators to inadvertently seek humans, but it's equally annoying that you can't really hide. You only can hide structurally or on an animal. Oh yeah, another thing. Let's go change everyone's targeting distance. That's really strange though. Oh, that's kind of neat. I can't think of many times when I ever went, oh man, I hope you... I guess for, you know who that would be for? That would be for, Therizinosaur, really. If you wanted to send him out as a fighter. That's the other thing about, Ark as a game. And the bullshit that it will sometimes pull, inadvertent or advertently. Sit down. Shut up. Are you... Okay, you're a defender? This should get more response faster. Hopefully. So we get caught off guard with these guys. I don't know if we have 100 Rex eggs yet or not, but I know we're getting there. It's another thing I don't get about people playing on the regular stuff. Who's your egg guy? You know, you have to have a guy that just sits back and watches for eggs to be laid, because you gotta grab them fast in the default game. Here's another giveaway that we're not playing on the regular settings. Wow, you got a lot of eggs. Is that normal? No. Exactly. That's your giveaway. Didn't realize the bear's a defender. Isn't he just overly cute? What the hell? Don't rubber band me again. Also, everything shits way too much on default settings. That's why I always turn it down. I've yet to turn it down, but seriously, if you ever make like a Site B base, I think some of the glitchiness from that comes from having them all up on structures. But that's irritating too, because they want you to protect your damn animals. The smartest way to do it is to put them indoors. Maybe giant indoors, but still. That's how you prevent piking, sniping, whatever. Like, it's a game built on a lot of bullshit. Yeah, I showed up and I aggroed his animals so that their head stuck out of the wall and then I piked them to death. Like, yeah. Then they should be able to return fire through the you know, so they can't bite you through the wall, but you can still attack them. No one else thinks that's kind of lame. Well, it's funny when I'm doing it to someone, but it's lame when they do it to me. Hang on. God dang it. Oh God. Anyways, so oh. What time is it? I see.